And welcome back to Tai Chi in the Park with me, Li Fu, director of Four Dragons Tai Chi. And today we're starting our new series of Qi Gong for the spine. Spinal health is so important for our physical and mental dexterity, and we want to make sure that we keep our spines strong and supple and flexible, so that we have optimal range of motion and optimal function of our internal organs. So let's go ahead and get started finding a space where you can stand comfortably, standing with your feet shoulder width distance apart, bending the knees, coming into our Qi Gong stance. And let's take a nice deep abdominal breath in through the nose and slowly exhale out through the nose. And we are going to be practicing the 4 empties as we breathe and sink and settle. Emptying the palms. Emptying the soles of the feet. Emptying the chest, meaning that we release any and all tension being held in and around the rib cage. Feeling the chest internally becoming empty and releasing down. And finally, emptying the mind. And relaxing the arms down. We're going to start with gentle tapping and twisting of the spine. Moving the hips just lightly, not moving the knees, twisting in the knees, more in the hips, but in the waist particularly, and tapping around the waist. We call this washing away. Tapping the tension away. And continuing with your deep abdominal breathing, breathing into the lower back, letting the belly expand. And now bringing the hands up, tapping the L-shaped form of the hand against the front of the shoulder and the lower rib cage. So harmonizing the lungs and the kidneys for optimal breath. And now letting the palm come up on top of the shoulder. Letting the back of the hand tap against the lower rib cage. Releasing tension in and around the rib cage, top of the rib cage, anything that would restrict our breathing. And relax, slowly unwinding. And now taking the hands together, warming the hands up. And here in Houston, that's not going to take long today. All right, and we're going to take some of that warmth, bring it to the skin, up to the shoulder, down the inside of the arm, smoothing out the chi. And over to the other side. Feeling as though you're washing on the inside, releasing and letting go with each sweep down the inside. And shake out your hands, warming the hands up. Full body, washing with chi, taking the hands to the face. Inhale overhead. Exhale, coming down the back body. Inhaling up the front. And bringing the hands up to the rib cage underneath the sternum. We're going to start with big circles to release the diaphragm. Again, working on optimal breathing. So just adding a little light pressure as you run your palm across the top or bottom of the rib cage. Coming to the top of the solar plexus. And then stopping underneath the sternum and reversing. Coming down below the navel, and we're going to bring our thumbs to each side of the navel, fingers pointing down. I'm just going to gently rub this area. I'm feeling the breath wanting to sink down into this area as we bring our attention, the physical movement, and our mental focus. All right, and pausing here for a moment. So now we're going to work on a breathing technique called crane breathing. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. As you inhale, we're going to shift our hips forward. And as you exhale, we release the hips back. This is all nasal breathing, inhaling hips forward, and exhale. And so this should feel nice and gentle on the low back. It should not feel any extreme pressure, any discomfort. If you have any back issues or limited mobility in the spine, please modify the movement so that you can practice comfortably. And the intention is to get the fluids of the spine, the CFS, cerebral spinal fluid, CSF. Getting it moving throughout the spine. So of course it's going to affect the brain as well. So inhale, pressing hips forward. Exhale, pressing hips back. A few more here. Nice long spine. Relax shoulders. And last one here, exhaling and coming back up to center. Let's take a deep breath in, sinking in the knees. And now for rippling the dragon spine. We're going to take one step forward, having a nice wide stance, kind of at the diagonal. And we're going to imagine that there is a ball or sphere inside the pelvis. And we're going to inhale that sphere of light, inhaling it from the tailbone up the spine, out through the crown of the head, and release down. Soft knees. Knees can be bent. Imagining that the ball comes underneath the front foot, into the ground, and up underneath the back foot, up the back leg, back to the tailbone, and circling back up the spine. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, bending that front knee. Shifting the weight back, drawing up the back leg, and up the spine. And extending out. Imagining that the vertebrae are releasing, opening, expanding. And then gently coming back together to lubricate the spinal discs, keeping them healthy. Releasing out old fluids and opening up to replenishing those fluids. And one more. And you may notice that your flexibility here increases with each rotation. And now we're going to pause at the hips. And you're either going to take one step forward, or you can just switch sides, whatever works best for you. And continue. Inhale. Feeling the spine grow long, extending up and out. Trying to keep the ears in line with the biceps. It's not mandatory, just a suggestion. As you shift the weight forward, keep your back foot rooted and grounded. Both feet feeling steady and connected to the ground. Inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we release down. And last one here. Coming up to the hips and pausing for a breath. Inhale, expand that ball inside the pelvis. And exhale, bringing it down the back leg, shifting the weight back, bending the back knee, taking the ball underneath the feet, shifting the weight forward, coming up, and noticing how reversing the motion might change for you and your mobility. Maybe it's easier, maybe it's more challenging. Just notice what you feel and make those adjustments for your spine. Two more. Finding the rhythm and the flow of the movement to encourage the flow of qi through the spine. And bringing it down to pause at the pelvis. And you can either take a step back or change directions, whatever works best for you. And we're going to continue down the back leg, shifting the weight forward, extending up and out. And as we practice this in the morning, we can imagine that as we come up, we're grabbing the sun, drawing it in through the crown, letting it warm and nourish the spine, and bringing it down to the earth. Letting some of that energy from the earth pick up into the ball. And come down through the spine, balancing yin and yang energy. And last one here, noticing how this exercise is full body strengthening. When our legs are strong, our spine is strong. And as we extend, we strengthen the arms. And holding it here, taking a deep breath in. Imagining this ball of light inside the pelvis expanding out in all directions as you inhale. And exhale. All right, and let's continue that as we turn to the front. Inhale, letting the hands open and expand out in front of the lower dantian. The foundation of the spine, soften your knees. Allowing even your legs to expand and contract. Connecting with the breath to move the Qi. Letting the shoulder joints relax. And now that we've allowed the energy to sink down into the hips, into the lower dantian, let's take some of that energy, imagining 3 spheres aligned in the body. One at the center of the hips, one at the center of the chest, the heart center, one at the center of the head. We're going to rotate those spheres. And using the rotation of the hands to encourage that rotation in the body. Ears over shoulders. Shoulders over hips. Nice open spine. And reverse. as the spheres are turning, imagining energy flowing through the central channels, along the spine and down the front midline of the body. And reverse again one more time. And relaxing the hands down. Inhale the arms up. We're going to practice a little meditation. This meditation is really good for the brain, for the eyes, for clearing out any stagnant or turbid or toxic qi from the brain. It's good to do if you've been sitting at a desk looking at a screen, if you do that a lot, which many of us do nowadays. And so you can partially close your eyes or close them completely if you can stand and balance with your eyes closed. And just begin to imagine that you are standing inside a thick fog. Maybe imagining you're in a place where this happens frequently, where the fog just rolls over the mountains. And you're standing in this forest on this mountain as the fog rolls in. And as the fog surrounds you, this fine white cleansing mist, imagining that you inhale from the tailbone up the spine, drawing that mist into the tailbone, into the spine, moving in and around all of the tissues, the spinal cord, all the way up into the skull, washing over the brain, moving into all of the folds and crevices. And on an exhale, you're going to release the breath out through the mouth, releasing out anything that is turbid or cloudy from the brain. And we'll repeat that on your next breath. Inhaling the fine white mist, drawing it up the spine, cleansing and washing over the brain, and releasing out the old turbid breath out through the mouth. And one more time, inhaling, and as you exhale, releasing out the last of the turbidity, imagining the brain sparkling like luminous sand. Clearing all the crystals. And returning your awareness back to the present moment, inhaling the arms up. And exhaling the palms down. Continuing to feel that sinking and settling in the body. we'll close our practice with our salute, taking the feet together, bringing the hands together, that symbol of heaven and earth coming together to create a life-nourishing practice. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, all of you here at Evelyn's Park, and for those of you who are practicing with us at home, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for our Facebook Live practices every Tuesday at 9 a.m. here at Evelyn's Park. And until next time, stay safe, take care, Dao An.